All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Fabulous.
Can
And
I
then you
start
can
the live stream
let everybody in first, and then you
first?
can start the
Okay.
live stream.
Okay. Admit all.
Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Great to have you here. Fabulous. We are going to get started here in just a moment. If you want to put in the chat where you're coming from, it's great to see where everyone is around the world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fabulous. And if you can also put yourself on mute as well. So if you're not currently on mute, make sure you're on mute. And welcome. And yeah, go ahead and put where you're from. So we have the West Indies. Hey, Vanessa. And we have Houston, Texas. Hey, Casey. Beautiful. And hello, Anna. Fabulous. And Maryland, or Maryville, Tennessee in the US. Hey, Jim. And Ben. Hey, Ben. Pennsylvania. And Saskia from the Netherlands. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Celine from Amsterdam. Welcome, welcome. And Annie, beautiful from Brisbane. Great to have all of you here. Welcome, welcome. And Claire from Florida. And Christina from Latvia. And Anna from Brazil. And Sergey from Germany. And Lorraine. Hey, Lorraine from Minnesota. Welcome, welcome. And I think are we live streaming yet?
For some reason, it doesn't want to start. It gives me some
But
unknown,
I saw that
unknown.
I saw it says that we were live streaming.
Where? Why it gives me a error here and some error message. Very strange. Let me
It's
see.
definitely live streaming. I can see it. I've just checked it on
Yeah.
my phone. So,
Fabulous.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
great, great.
very good.
Excellent. We are here and we are live streaming. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to the International Human Design Festival and Immersion. This is the Voices of the Festival. This is a live Monday series. And today we are going to be dancing with connection. So, we're going to take a look at the dance of connection. We're going to be exploring the true nature of relationships. And we have two incredible guests who are also speakers at the festival as well. So Elaine and Lisa. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're going to dance with connection. And for all of you who are here, if you have questions or if you want to participate as well, we're going to be opening it up also. So as we open it up, you can raise your hand or you can type questions or comments as well in the chat. And we look forward to exploring this dance of connection. So give me a moment here. I am going to make sure that we can see everyone front and center. So once again, welcome, 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 everyone. And whoop, this is Moxie. This is my assistant here. What we're going to be exploring relationships here. So, what we're going to be exploring is we're going to be exploring this dance of connection with relationships. And so, I would love for Lisa and Elena to both introduce yourself and then also talk about a little bit about what relationships mean to you and why it's important. And for both of you, you're going to be speaking about relationships at the festival as well. So, let's start with Lisa.
Sure. Good morning, guys. Hello to everyone in the room. It's so nice to have lovely company. And yeah, it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be in the room with Eleanor and yourself, Karen, and yeah, all my peers. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, good morning from Australia, 6 a.m. here, and it's a beautiful day. The sun is already out. So yeah, for those who know me, and don't know me, I'm Lisa Maree. Um, I've been in my experiment for now 7 years. It's the 7 year cycle this year, and what a journey. It's exceptional. Yeah. the pleasure, the pain, all of it. We can't escape the duality that life brings us. And yeah, relationships. We've just come out of the quarter of purpose fulfilled through relationships. And yeah, it's been quite a thing this year, you know, this whole solar return for 2025 has been something with the channel of transitoriness. I'm sure a lot of people, without even realizing it, or know human design that well, that it's been quite, yeah, intense emotionally. And so when I think of relationships and dancing and our connection to each other and ourselves, I think it really stems from, and Ra, you know, emphasizes that, you know, we really need to get a hold on this emotionality. This is what we're learning as humanity. This is where we are in our trajectory as humanity, in our evolution, really developing relational intelligence, you know, getting a handle on how to communication with each other. So I don't know how much you want me to go into that now, but yeah, I've made a few little points on that as we go throughout. So yeah, I look forward to it's a little introduction to me, but yeah, I'm so grateful to be here, and I can't wait for the festival and look forward to everyone joining us, new, old. Come. It's such a beautiful world, and everyone is so rich and gorgeous. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lisa Maria. And you know, as you spoke about, it is challenging, and it is something that we are really learning how to connect with others, and we're going to be talking much more about that. So thank you so much for being here and for your contribution. I look forward to this whole discussion. So thank you. And let's go to Elena.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Karen, Lucrecia, and Veronica. I'm pleased to be here, and thank you for inviting me to be a part of today's meeting. And I'm honored to be here today also with Lisa, because we have very similar designs. We have only a couple of days of birth difference. But still we are different, and also we have different life experiences. I'm official in my experiment for 13 years, so I'm already in the second 7-year cycle, while unofficially I'm probably in my 18th year, but I cannot tell that it was a serious experimenting, because I was only exploring theoretically and mentally what it was to be a projector, a mental projector. But what I was always interested in was relationships, because they have been a mystery for me. You never know why they begin, you never know how, you never know when. And having a defined ajna, defined mind, you want to kind of anticipate that beginning, and you want to prepare yourself for the next step. And it's not always possible. And now, as you know, we are moving towards 2027, where the global shift will take place, and we are going to feel this difference in the frequency, in the background frequency. But it doesn't mean that we're going to be living alone, because we cannot fulfill our purpose alone. We are here to commune with each other. And throughout the years since the COVID started and the other events exploded, I noticed how all of that affected relationships. I know people who went through broken relationships, through divorces, through personal crisis, and I was asking myself whether they could prevent it, whether they felt it happening, felt it approaching. And when I was interviewed for the first time this year by Veronica and Lucrezia, this topic that I'm going to explore during the lecture, it just popped out of my mind because I want to look at the relationships from the current perspective of the current cycle that we're living in, and also to explore it from the next cycle, and to give people a little bit of encouragement about the fact that yes, we're moving to the next cycle, but it doesn't mean that our relationships have to stop or that we're going to move alone in life. But I don't want to disclose too much. So I think that's it for now.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And what a gift also to have two mental projectors. In BG5, we call it projectors advisors. So what a gift to have both of you here and exploring this topic and kind of going along with what Elena just said and what I'd be really curious to hear from both of you. And again, if there's anyone out there that wants to contribute, you can also put it in the chat as well, and we can discuss it is this shift from the era of planning into the era of the individual. Just in general, we don't want to go too deep in what you're going to talk about in the festival, Elena, but just in general, oftentimes I think there's a misconception because it's the era of the individual. And so we think it's going to be more of me, 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 all about, and more individual, and that relationships will kind of get put to the side. Do you believe that, or do you believe that there's something different to that?
I believe that the majority of the world will still remain the not self. And for them, it will be more dramatic, let's put it this way, because they are not prepared. And if human design knowledge is not on their fractal, they probably will still remain unprepared for that and will go through the shocks of breaking of broken relationships. But I do believe that if it is a part of your fractal, you will still have your particular connections. It will be just a different way of how you connect. Your own
Mm,
way of how you connect will be absolutely different because it will be made according to the theme of the sixth line, because we're moving from the first line theme to the sixth line theme. And it will be kind of highly standardized, sophisticated way of connecting only when this is something special, particular.
mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your insights. I'm really curious again how everyone perceives it slightly differently as well. I'm curious, Lisa Marie, how you see this transition and how much of a struggle it will it be? How much will people get on board? What's going to be different in relationships as we move into the era of the individual?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Eleanor and I both share the sixth line, and she has it in her personality. Although she's gone through that third line process, the trial and error, of that more openness. When I think of the third line, I think it's open. It's just out there bumping into things. It kind of wants to get involved. And I really noticed that as my Saturn return kicked in, I became more aloof. The sixth line in my body, I'm a 3/6. I just started. It was very noticeable how that shift came about. I have a second line in my environment, also like Elena, I think. Are you second line environment?
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
And so it's a selective environment, being more selective with who I have in my environment. But yeah, I just didn't feel as, I didn't want to be as out there. But there's something about me, especially with the way I'm motivated, this innocence and vessel of love. I do want to connect with others, but I have found it does, yeah, especially through the last 7 years. And learning more of who I am and being able to really tune in to my intelligence and use it in a way that is correct. I find, yeah, some people have fallen away because I'm not initiating anymore as well. So who is there, as Elena said, it's this fractal. You really recognize the fractal, and the true environment starts to emerge. And even though I'm in a more closed off environment, a selective environment, I'm noticing I'm playing with these selective people that really nourish and allow me to speak and be held in a way that feels very nurturing to me. So it can be hard as we move along this journey and as we move away from the cross of planning, which is all about community and skills and focus, and more fall into this because we're this transitional species. We can feel the shift. We can literally see it breaking down in front of our eyes. You know, all empires must fall, and we can really see it in the United States, but all governments, we can see that they don't trust us. We're moving into an era of trust or not, and that can be on, you know, very personal scale in terms of our families and communities, and then larger organizations, the collective society at large. And yeah, I see that it really, yeah, sometimes it's not like we need to let people go, rather it's just let people be. It's like we can still love them. But yeah, not everyone's going to wake up. Not everyone is going to be able to nurture us in the way that is correct, that feels healthy for us. And it's not like, you know, we're moved away from the blame and the shame. It's not about that. There's no wrong or right. There's just correctness and what feels, healthy for us. And sometimes that can be a really hard pill to swallow when you see, you know, some people that you assume are meant to be, you know, good for us, potentially they aren't. So yeah, this era of individual, you know, it's about who are we and how do we connect to the other, and can,
Yes.
you know, true intimacy, you know, we can only know each other through being able to communicate with authenticity and receive that back or not. And yeah, I think it's just something we slowly are unfolding into, that we just have to trust who is there and what is there for us, as we move forward.
Yeah, so beautifully said. I love what both of you said, and really pointing out that transition of, in a sense, moving from the one to the six. So there is more of a trial and error process, and there is a bit more discernment as well as we go through, and really one of the things that I see also as we take a look at relationships and where relationships are going, before, relationships have been, like in the era of planning, all about the bargain, right? You do this and I'll do this, and all of the bargains that we have for relationships. So it's interesting that in a sense, the bargain is starting to break down also within relationships as well. And what I also see is that, for example, with trait 55 is kind of the core of this era of the individual. I feel also that the more we are ourselves as individual, the deeper we can connect with others, because we also have the 59, which is about that deep connection. And so, it's interesting as we shift from the bargain into, really being who we are and connecting with each other, because as both of you mentioned, because of the fractal, because of who we're connected with, because we're creating those relationships where, again, being truly recognized, being truly invited, and not only as advisors or projectors, which is key, but I think there's an element And you had mentioned this before, Lisa Marie, of all of us that are longing to be recognized and longing to be invited. And so I'm curious when you see relationships, and we've been so conditioned with relationships being a bargain, right? Even marriage and marriage contracts and business. I do a lot of, my specialty is BG5, relationships within, you know, organizations and people working together. How do you feel that the difference is going to be versus, connecting via the bargain versus connecting through being truly who we are? If that makes
Yeah, I can.
sense.
Well, you go.
Yeah,
Are you
please.
asking Lisa or me?
Both. Well, let's start with Lisa and then we'll go with you,
Okay,
Elena.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think once, there's two parts to this. Through understanding, we need to enter into things correctly. And we're already involved in what we're involved with: relationships, business, friendships. And no matter what our designs are, there's obviously a lot of openness in a mental projector's design. Open solar plexus, which, we know the jingles, avoiding confrontation and truth. But if I just focus on that one center, because this is what we're developing as humanity at the moment, defined or undefined, I've had so many experiences, especially this year, quarter of duality, where even the defined, you can see the shame or the blame, not having understanding their own inner chemistry is what I'd like to say, because they're not involved in human design. So if we're talking about the not self world, or people that just aren't, it's a pretty harsh way to say it, the not self, but it's they don't understand it. They haven't been educated to understand their own inner chemistry. And sometimes they can avoid truth because they just feel uncomfortable or ashamed with their own behavior, and because they don't understand their emotionality. And sometimes they don't speak their truth. They just avoid or just create an argument or disagreement, or, blame you or whatever. And then the open emotional, we're sort of tiptoeing around it a little bit. Whether we entered into relationships correctly or we're just born in them, say families, there's just a real timing to it all. And so coming from a place where we can, our own inner chemistry, yes, Lorraine, work with one another, and to be able to, whoever it is, in my case, a lot of the time I've had to, retreat because the remote emotions of others around me were quite intense over my deconditioning process. But I'm at a stage now, it's like, well, especially those I really love, like family members, I want to talk to them. I want them to understand, how this works and what's going on, and everything is okay. It doesn't have to be this drama. There doesn't have to be fights. It's all about conflict, but is there conflict resolution there or not? And so this is what the solar plexus is. It gets its, the bad name of conflict and crisis. These are words that we relate to because we don't understand the volatility of that center. 50% of us are defined emotionally. And we're all swimming in that field. And so this is what we see in the world. There's conflict and crisis, but how do we get to conflict resolution? Well, it's one person at a time. It's us being able to work with that energy, not be in it when it is volatile, but come at it gently and slowly. Even if you're splenically defined, whatever your configuration is, it still takes time to have these conversations and resolve things. So communication is key. And I just really feel like, yeah, feeling the things that we're feeling and being okay with, yeah, working through it over the prolonged period of time, and not just letting it go, but letting it be. I sort of keep coming back to letting things be, because yeah, it may come back. I think I'm
Yeah.
going off the topic now, but
But I think what you're saying is really important. It really is allowing it to be, and really understanding, emotions. And as you said, communication is really key. And again,
yeah,
as we move away from all of these bargains, it's, the bargains in a sense kind of in my perspective kind of preempted in a sense sometimes communication. And so, it's kind of like, okay,
mm,
there's the bargain, now we have this agreement, and it is a constant need to communicate and to deal with crisis and to deal with conflict and
yeah,
to,
actually. Mm.
yeah,
So yeah, I just came back to that key point. Yeah, and it's okay at the right time. You'll feel safe enough. Well, it takes a lot of I don't know, there's a bit of fragility around it, actually coming to, whether it be your partner, friendships, parents, relatives, to really speak as your authentic self. It takes a lot of integrity and honesty within ourselves. But it is quite amazing when we do speak our truth and we don't hide from it, the outcome. I've recognized that
yes,
we can have such rich conversations, and those that are meant for us will remain. Um,
exactly,
yeah, it's just all the
exactly.
way we approach it. And yeah, I have found that just being honest, being able to be honest with what we need, with what I need, yeah,
It's
it is
really key.
interesting to see the resolution that is there. Yeah. The person,
Yeah,
they have no choice but to accept that you're being honest and that is your truth. Um,
yeah,
it is
yeah,
quite beautiful. And as a
yeah. The
result,
honest,
relationships can flourish. Yeah.
exactly,
Mm,
exactly. That with that honest communication
yeah.
and and allowing it to be and really understanding each other at that deeper level. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really beautifully said. And yes, Elena, I'd love to hear from you as well. And then I'd love to open it up a bit as well if anyone else wants to share their insights.
Mhm. I resonate deeply with how Lisa started with the need to enter correctly in the bargains and in any relationships. But what we see now in the world is that these bargains are formed by the not selves who don't know how to enter correctly in any relationships, any bargains. And the majority of bargains that I personally see are not fair. I mean, someone is stronger, someone is weaker. They don't always have respect for each other, but they are in a way in a forced bargains, forced by the outer authorities. They need to survive in the material world. The fear to be alone, the fear to be lonely, the fear of not having children and not having this offspring that will take care of you when you are old. And this is what we are living now. And human beings who are living their lives with fear, they go through that kind of mm, tremendous shift in their mentality right now, and I'm not sure that they will be ready to face the next era, especially when we dive deeper into that after 2027. But in 2027, this frequency of the bargain will be dissolved. And what I see personally is that having this theme of integration, of charisma, where thoughts must become deeds, you need to learn how to integrate with yourself first, how to
Mm,
integrate with your inner truth. And having the theme of the sixth line, it's about acceptance, accepting myself, accepting you, and accepting each other in these very specific, very unique relationships where I connect to you only if it means something specific to me. I'm not against relationships, but I am for relationships that will be empowering for me as well as for you. And then, if I feel that I can be healthily selfish because I need this personal empowerment, then I will be able to integrate with you in these relationships. And if people are not ready to live out their nature as independent individual, finding that self-empowerment inside of them, finding that self-love because they trust themselves, because they trust the way they make decisions, it may be a hard ride in the next
Yeah.
cycle, especially for those who are after 30s, 40s. They are deeply ingrained in this current cycle. It will be a hard shift for them. But well, we have only one life, only one ride in this form, so we have to adapt, we have to adjust, and we have to learn what life brings to us. We have no other choice. And
Yeah.
we also learn from the relationships that we are in because we change ourselves, we change each other, we get changed through the chemistry of these relationships, and we can learn something and we can teach each other something in these relationships. And this is what I find extremely beautiful.
I love what you just said. And I wanted to highlight a couple of things. One, the first thing that the relationship really starts within yourself, right? If you don't have a relationship within yourself, if you don't know what your own truth is, it's hard to really create relationships with others. And the point that you just made too, the beauty of relationships. I think sometimes they cause us the greatest pain, but at the same time, they are our greatest learning tools. And that's what I ultimately see relationships are really about is how do we learn? How do we grow? How do we learn how to communicate? We were talking about how important communication is. How do we know what is true for us unless we communicate what is true for us? And so as you just said, the relationship with others is our greatest tool for learning. And again, becoming more and more discerning, as Lisa Marie was talking about as well, becoming more discerning, and yet at the same time, learning from the good experiences and also learning from the bad experiences, and learning how, we learn more and more about who we are through our relationship with others. And I think that's really truly the gift of relationship is, how can we learn about ourselves and deepen who we are, as we are connecting with others. And yeah, it may be really challenging for those who don't know this information, but this is maybe my idealistic viewpoint, but I feel the more that all of us who know this information can model what it is and be, in a sense, role models. That's what the six is all about as well. Quality six is being role models of how to be true to ourselves, how to speak our own truth, how to communicate in a way that honors both yourself and the other is key. And somehow it feels like in the era of planning and with the bargain, it's took the place of true communication. So I love what both of you said about how it's shifting, how it's changing, and as the bargain goes away, it's going to force us to look more at ourselves. And it's going to force us to be more true to ourselves. It's going to force us to heal the relationship within ourselves so that we can also heal relationships with each other as well. Yeah, really,
Yes.
really beautiful.
And the
Yeah, please.
projectors know about themselves through the connection with the other.
Yes, yes. And and through that relationship, again, you get the reflection of who you are. And I think all of us, the more that we can connect in a more authentic way. And sometimes we're going to make mistakes. It's going to be trial and error, right? We're moving into the six. So it's not this, focused detail. It's more about, it's going to be a little bit messy. But it's enjoying the mess. One of the things I talk about in Profit Potential is our mess is also our message. Because as we navigate through life, and again, it can be kind of messy at times, it's really beautiful to, have and know the people that are going to support you no matter what. And those people that don't support you are probably just not correct for you. It's just not the right people. It's not the right fractal. It's not, if the communication is not landing and they're not connecting with you at that deep level, the bargain no longer has to hold that together. We can break apart and do what's truly true, what's truly correct for us. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, I love what both of you have spoken about, and so richly and so deeply, and all of the little nuances of how important, again, relationships are, both for ourselves and, the impact that we can also have on others and the learning that we can have between each other as well. So I just
Mm.
wanted to see if there's if there's anything else, Lisa or Elena, that you would like to say, or if there's anyone who is currently here live, or also Lucretia and Veronica, if there's anything that you would like to add to the conversation of relationships and this dance of connection.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Actually, there are two things I want to kind of share. First one is my favorite, actually, quote from Ra. If you allow someone to be who they are and they allow you to be who you are, then that's love. Anything else is torture. And I find this so profound and so difficult to be executed, because when we're in relationships, we always hope, if we don't actively try to change the other, we hope that certain traits or things can change to our liking. And that's not leaving the other to be who they are. So it's a challenge. And then the other thing I want to kind of put a spotlight on, I find it very interesting, is that actually when we are with somebody else, one person, when we're one-on-one, we only know that person through how we experience them. And they only know us through how they experience us. So if they, and that's because we do a certain chemical reaction, but also through human design lenses, it's about the particular way our designs complement each other, and how we connect with each other on an energetic level. But it's hilarious when you're talking about somebody to a third person and they're like, you're talking about a different person that I know. And it's because they experience this same person very differently through their own design and through their a specific connection with the other person. So
Mm.
I find it very important that we realize that the way we perceive somebody is actually only the way we perceive them, and they can be totally different when they're alone or when they're with somebody else. So yeah, I think this is important to understand in relationships, that we have a very subjective view on the other, and they have a very subjective view on us. No matter how much we want to be objective, we have our designs, we have our energy imprint, and in a way, our imprint limits us. It's where we're open, where we can experience everything, right? So that's what I just wanted to add.
I love that, Veronica. It's really beautiful what you just said is it was reminded me, I think it's Umbutu, I am because you are, and how different each of us are, in connection with different people. And so to really, the beauty of relationships and that beauty of connection and that dance of connection, we see different aspects of ourselves as we interact with different people, both in positive ways and also in not so good ways. And it's really in that dance that we, in a sense, learn the reflection of ourselves because we can't see ourselves. We only see ourselves in a sense, like if you look in a mirror, all you're seeing is a reflection. And it's actually, different than we can't see our own face. And so the relationship, if you will, that we have with others gives us different perspectives and different ways of being able to view ourselves. And I love what you just said, Veronica. Thank you so, so much. Beautiful. And yes, Lucretia.
As excuse me, as someone who comes from um, um, the purpose of, the quadrant of duality, and I'm here to experience my purpose through bonding. I can talk like for days about relationships from many different perspectives, but if I can put it in a nutshell, that would be yes, the important with the relationship with myself has always been very important, and I have always put that in front of me when, especially when I was having troubles in my relationship of 13 years, that happily ended with marriage, and the marriage is, getting really good to my surprise. But through the connection with the other, I really started to see where it is me, where I start and finish, and where the other begins. And this really helped me to realize this important topic of boundaries. There's so many relationships suffer from this thing, like they don't know how to do the boundary theme in their lives, and this causes a lot of troubles. So where I start and finish, where the other begins, that was really a big lesson for me for many years. And I would say that human design saved my relationship more times than I can count. So thank you very much to the knowledge in many different ways. Really, I don't think that my relationship would have blossomed without this knowledge. It may sound cheesy, but it's the utter truth.
Yes.
And the last thing I would like to say to anyone who has any trouble in their relationship, really, when I look back in my relationship, there is one regret I have. I didn't sit down and just talk, like honestly, in a very simple way. I mean, what was the matter at hand? I just delayed and delayed with my undefined root and my undefined solar plex. And that really is a regret. And some things like really cannot be amended just because of that. And people, yeah, if you cannot sit with your partner and just have an honest, friendly conversation, find a way how to happen this. You don't need anything else, really. You don't need years of therapy. Sit down and talk. That's it.
Yeah.
From me.
So, so beautiful. And
Yeah.
and you can see that in the connection and where we're moving to as well, is that it is in a sense the deep connection with ourselves also allows us to create that deep intimate connection with others as well. When we know ourselves and can trust ourselves, we can also trust ourselves that whatever we say and whatever we share, when it comes from the true essence of who we are, it builds that relationship and it builds that connection. The most important relationship is starting with that relationship with yourself. And when you have that relationship and that dance of connection with yourself, then you can have the dance of connection with others in a deep and rich way. And I love, love what you shared, Lucretia. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Yes, and I have noticed, because I also work as therapist for 15 years, there is a pattern that repeats itself. People don't do that, this simple thing, to sit down and talk honestly, naming
Yeah.
things for what they are, because they fear they're gonna lose.
Mm,
And from my own experience, again, I have only gained from
yeah.
saying things as they are in a simple way, honest, simple way. There is nothing to lose, really, just to gain.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And I think that's the beauty of the era that we're moving into as well, is that ability to connect with each other in a very deep and intimate way while also maintaining who we are. Yeah, really beautiful. Beautiful. Anyone else or anything, Elena or Lisa, that you would like to add?
Actually, I have a question for you girls, ladies. Um, what is the biggest lesson you learned through relationships for all of us, like or anybody from the audience?
Yeah.
Lisa, do you have a lesson?
A lesson. Yeah. Well, I'd just like to add on to what Lucretia said as well. It's yeah, I think we're going to put a lot of therapists out of work. When people just start waking up as themselves and understand how energy works and how we connect, exactly what you said, Veronica. We are connecting as ourselves to one another individually. And so it's different with every single person. And another piece on that, a lot of people in relationships, you get so many people saying, oh, I'm not having a relationship for another year or two. I'm having a break. I'm too, they've been through hell and back or whatever it is. But people heal people. And we know that the solar plexus is holding on to emotional memory. And we need to, communicate that and allow it to move out of our systems. It's always going to be stored there, but we don't have to hold on to it like, it's futile and, what's the point of having more experience? Yeah, it hurts, but that's the pleasure pain principle of life. And it's okay. And, obviously there's nothing wrong with having a little space and coming back to yourself. Sleeping your own aura is always good too. But yeah, just being open, having, maybe this is my 3-6ness, but and the vessel of love, it's like, yeah, we connect with people uniquely. And so yeah, everyone that is interested in human design, please really tune in to understanding yourself and seeing how it's exciting to see how we connect to others, and the transit, seeing how the transits affect us uniquely. I love connecting with transits and seeing someone that has, say, gate 36, so it's going a little bit deeper, which is that crisis, but connecting with it in through the transit and how clean that can feel, and I get the real essence of what it is. And then when I connect with someone that's been through their deconditioning journey that has gate 36, how exciting that can be for me and how rich it is for me to have that connection with them. So yeah, it's just exploring and experimenting, and just knowing that we all connect to one another so uniquely. And just because you had a bad experience with one person doesn't mean that you will with the person next to you. So what can I say? I again just emphasizing this, being okay, not being afraid to rock the boat a little bit. And it doesn't need to be rocked hard, it's just gentle. It's just being okay to express yourself. Like we all have a place in this world. We're all an aspect of the whole, the totality. And so shine, be yourself, say what you need to say. As Elena said, we only have one go in this beautiful form that we reside in. So let's not let these relationships go, or just if they need to go, allow them to understand. You know, it's like a hairdresser. You stop going, and they wonder why. It's like, maybe just let her know. You know, just communicate. It's not so scary. Be honest, and we can be really. I've noticed through speaking my truth, I'm respected more. People are like, wow, thank you for sharing that. I wasn't expecting that. Or, yeah, I really feel you. They get to see as close, they get to understand you as much as they can, because we're all in that subjective reality, of course. But when you can speak, they don't know. Don't assume people understand you. You need to let them know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
I love it. Communication is beautiful. Yeah, let's use it. Yeah.
Yes, and Elena too.
Yes, for me, the lesson was to learn how to tell my own truth. So it is similar to what Lisa said, but I would like to add a nuance that telling your own truth, how you feel, not how you see the other, because talking about emotional center, you can easily go down to blaming other for how you feel. And for me, it was a huge lesson to tell the partner how I feel and to tell him about my determination to remain what is important to me in terms of my lifestyle, in terms of the components of my experiment. And it's not against him. I'm just for myself. I'm not against him. And this honesty, it's my life learning theme because I will always have this undefined emotional center. So this fear of confronting someone because they may not accept your truth and eventually reject you out of this relationship, it can always be there. But it doesn't mean that I need to be afraid of telling the truth, because hiding the truth, I will lose the respect of someone. And learning how to tell my truth, I will probably keep that respect between us. And the next lesson that I learned is that the relationships are not they change, they fluctuate, they evolve, they don't remain the same. They go through conflicts, they go through ups and downs, through some clarities. There is emotionality and there is also spontaneity in the relationships. It doesn't mean that I have to be depressed about some conflict of the moment, because the next day it will change. The conflicts, they don't park in our relationships forever. As long as we find our need and bravery to talk it through, and as long as we have this determination to stay in this experience of relationships, as long as we need each other, as long as we need to learn from each other. So these are my lessons.
Yeah, great question, Veronica. And Lucretia and Veronica, is there anything that you would like to say as we wrap everything up? It has been such a pleasure. Uh, Lisa Maree and Elena, in this connection is discussing the dance of this connection. So thank you so much for everything that you brought to light. And I would love to turn it over to Veronica and Lucretia. Anything that you would like to say in wrapping everything up, and anything about the festival as well.
Actually, I want to add one last thing about relationships, and it is to realize that we are here to be ourselves, and it's our personal journey. So sometimes we travel together with somebody for a very long time or for a very short time, but ultimately we have our own journey. So, twin flames or whatever, those now popular themes, we have to realize that we have our own journey, and it's not necessarily connected till the end of our life with somebody. And sometimes even when we say we're there for a lifetime, it might not happen. And another thing I want to add about the lesson, one of the biggest lessons I learned is that you can say the same thing in one way or in another way. No need to excuse yourself with your design. This is my design, and that's why I'm rude and nasty to you, and I'm gonna give it to you, and the whole thing. I find this very important, how we relate with others, because we're here to connect after all. And then I want to just add one more thing, guys. We were talking about relationships, but on the 24th of November, the topic is becoming more hot as we're going into the sexual intimacy relationships. So don't miss this next live that is coming. And also, if you resonated with Elena and Lisa Marie, you can hear them during the festival. Elena is with the topic relationships in times of mutation, keys and locks of bonding. And Lisa's topic is winds of change, waiting between the notes. So if you would like to hear more and you resonated with what they had to say, please join us during the festival so we can be together, share, and learn, experiment, experience more. Would you like to come? We would love
Yeah,
to have you.
beautiful, beautiful. And did you want to add anything, Lucretia?
Yes, I think it's going to be a good ending. My esoteric journey started with astrology many, many years ago with an astrological reading. And I was always very curious about my purpose here. Knowing my design, I know I'm curious about that topic. And he was very enlightened projector, as I would understand some years later, this astrologer. But I was so impatient and asked him the question that was burning inside of me. What is my purpose here? Can this be seen in the horoscope? And he said, oh, there is only one purpose for each and one of us. And I was like, eyes like that. So what's that? To learn to love.
I love that. I love that.
So we are
Beautiful.
to do that, to learn to love ourselves and to hopefully experience that with somebody else.
Beautiful. Well, again, thank you so, so much for being here. Thank you, Lisa Marie. Thank you, Elena. It has been really, really a gift to hear each of you share. And again, with the festival, it's so great to have you a part of it. And you'll definitely want to hear what they have to say. So, with the festival, again, we have still time to register, really making it affordable. So hopefully you can be there both online and in person. And next week, we are going to be taking a look at thriving in career and business. So hopefully you'll join us next week. We will be talking to Maree Smith and Veronica Chase, and we'll be taking a look at the new frequency of success. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. It has been a gift to have you all here, and look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks, everyone. If you want to unmute yourself and say goodbye, we will sign off for today. And again, see you next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Jim, do you have something to add?
Oh, sorry. I was just plotting to making some arguments ready for the next argument I have in my relationship. So we we have this line in our relationship where she's doing something and I'm doing something. We have stop being you. It goes over really well.
I bet it
But
does.
it's the reminder of, oh, that she's just being who she is again. Fun times. Anyway, that's it. No, I was just
Love
curious,
it.
but I can never figure out what time this is. So it's going to be like the same time,
Every
the clock.
Monday, the same time. Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, I
Mhm.
will leave. Thanks.
Thank you for coming, Jim. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Karen. Bye, Lucretia. Bye, you
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, Veronica.
Bye. Okay, I put Jumping Moon in the waiting room, so it's now only the three of us.
Shall I stop the
And-
recording?
Yes, please.
Yeah.